Well, you heard it from Professor Oak. PokedexT is online and starting. PokedexT, as you all have known, is going to be a review of every Pokemon. We're starting off with the starter Pokemon. I'm doing the review of Bulbasaur today, but I will also do Charmander and Squirtles, and I'll try and figure out how to do that link thing on the video so that you can choose either one. Pretty much, yeah. Let's do this. Bulbasaur, Pokemon numeral uno. In the in the start of the Kanto region where Professor Oak offers you 3 Pokemon, Bulbasaur is the first choice. As far as the game goes, they tried to not only measure out each Pokemon as far as type-wise, being of grass, water, and fire, they also tried to measure the Pokemon out stat-wise. Charmander being of attack power, physical attack power, Squirtle being of physical defense, and Bulbasaur being of special. However, due to the later on advancements of the game, special itself isn't a stat anymore. Instead, that stat has been replaced by splitting the two apart into special attack and special defense. And Bulbasaur just so happened to get the better of it because now Bulbasaur has really high special attack and defense, as you can see in the stats below, which were provided by Maryland, by the way. Stat-wise, like I just said, Bulbasaur has really good special attack and special defense, meaning that it can hold its own against a lot of attacks, mostly fire-based attacks too, meaning that its weakness can still be a threat, but it can't be that much of a threat because it can be a really good special defensive tank if you train it properly. Um, I can say from having a Venusaur on my Pokemon Platinum team that Venusaur can be a very good Pokemon. Personally, myself, I had EV trained it in physical defense as well as special defense, making it a really good tank so that it can stay alive long enough to use recommended moves. And that I'm gonna say that from now on. When I say recommended moves, it'll be moves that I recommend to each Pokemon before I start saying them. Recommended moves for Venusaur, I would have to say would be Frenzy Plant, Giga Drain, Leech Seed, and Poison Powder. The reason of such is because Leech Seed and Poison Powder work as a combo. You can not only suck away the opponent's health continuously, but also make the opponent lose even more health. So by turn, you can not only hit them with the irregular Giga Drain to gain some health, but you can also suck away your opponent's health continuously by using Leech Seed, and then make them lose further damage by being poisoned. Then, if they're weak enough and you know they won't go down easily, then I'd recommend using the Frenzy Plant attack, seeing as how Venusaur has really high special attack. Due to Venusaur's special attack status, this means that Frenzy Plant is exceptionally helpful for Venusaur, just like it is for Meganium and Sceptile. However, Venusaur probably benefits from this the most. And Torterra, of course, but Torterra has Wood Hammer. Anywho, um, also, as far as that, the games to obtain this Pokemon, of course, would be Red, Blue, Yellow, and the Japanese game Pokemon Green, which were Generation 1 games that were out a long time ago. There's also Fire Red and Leaf Green that are obtainable for the Game Boy Advance. Then you can trade those Pokemon over to a Generation 4 and or upcoming Generation 5 game, I presume. The thing about Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur that I find pretty interesting is their Pokedex entry stating that they need little to no food in order to survive. However, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur show to have teeth, which means that apparently this gives us a presumption of whether or not they're herbivore, carnivore, or any of the sort, using mostly photosynthesis to gather most of their energy. And for those of you that don't know, that means energy from the sun. Um, Online wise, since it's a starter Pokemon, yeah, since its status is starter, I see Venusaur on the game occasionally. Not as much as I want to though, however. Um, Given the chance, since he's on my platinum team, I will more than likely use him myself. Venusaur, as far as things go, is a really good Pokemon. I say the only real downside to Venusaur is his speed, because his speed isn't the best of the starters, but it is thankfully is not the worst. Being Blastoise being the worst, considering the fact that he's a turtle. But Venusaur is a really good Pokemon to have around, considering that its weaknesses are the only Pokemon where weaknesses can do damage, but it can be confirmed that it can still be alive from those weaknesses if you special train it enough. The best route to take, I should say, for training Venusaur would have to be raise its specials. To raise its specials would be the smartest road to take, because specials can get you so far. And specials for Venusaur can make it combat against other Pokemon that would relatively be tougher. Being in this case, say Alakazam or Gengar, giving it so that Venusaur has a fighting chance against those Pokemon. Since this review is not just about Venusaur, it's also about Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. Um, I say this would be an option, but you can keep Bulbasaur or Ivysaur unevolved just enough to where they can learn the attacks that they learn in the Venusaur stage much faster than they normally would have. Also, other attacks I may recommend for Venusaur would be Petal Dance if you're feeling uncomfortable with Frenzy Plants, the major downside of having to recharge for one turn. Another move I recommend would be, I'd have to say, Wood Hammer. Even though it's not that good at physical attack, or not as good as it should be at physical attack as it is special, I say teach it probably Wood Hammer. That way you won't have to deal with the one turn recharge. Energy Ball's also a good attack to teach it if you need a quick attack. Anyway, that's pretty much all we have to say. Tyrone the Guide 3 out. This has been my review of Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. See you next time, people.